continued. Okay, so continued until, let's see what time this gets continued until. Continued until, let's see. So yeah, they're just issuing it. It will expire still, looking to be around 8:15 still. So they just reissued it. It's not as impressive as it was just about a couple scans ago, but still just enough to warrant the continuation of that warning. They didn't extend it, still 8:15 right now for that expiration, but something we're watching out for as the National Weather Service has still continued this warning, and now it is pushing out of Allen, and now we're watching Admire. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more here, as this is the area that we're watching. So now moving to Admire again, so it still has the track east at 15 miles per hour. That has not changed. Golf ball size hail, and we've seen that bigger than that at times as well. So 70 mile per hour winds outside of this. I'll tell you what, that latest scan looks good. That looks good. Still got the hook on there, but it is not quite as wound up as it was. So let's go ahead and look at velocity data again. Here's our velocity data. And there's that area. Now, Admire, you're certainly going to want to take shelter. The rotation is broad, but it's there. It is spinning. It's broad. It hasn't really tightened up too much. But Admire, take shelter right now. Highway 56, take shelter. If you're on Highway 56, you're going to want to take shelter going into the ditch. K99 also, if you're crossing K99 right now, that is moving into the area. So there's that area of rotation. Green meets the red. Radar off towards the north. Here's the center of that radar. You can see where it spins through. It's not exactly directly lining up with that radar, which is good news. The rotation is not super impressive. Right now, it doesn't look super imminent of producing a tornado, but it is enough to, at any time, it can really cycle up and drop something really quick. So that's why this is warned. Again, it's on the lower end, but it is warned, and that is a tornado warning. You still need to take it seriously. You need to take shelter right now and Admire. 335, you know someone driving on 335, give them a call, let them know that this is on the way, and it's pretty much following Highway 56 and moving towards the east. Highway 56, eventually, just some folks just down the road. Let's go ahead and do a storm track on this. Let's go ahead and do that storm track. That's something that we should do with 15 miles per hour. It's slow, so here it is. Let's go ahead and do the storm track. We'll give it 15 miles per hour. We'll give it pretty much due east. Right about, let's go about right here. 15 miles per hour out of the east. It's not going to quite include Osage City. Let me give it a zoom. Zoom out just a little bit here. So, yeah, storm track right now, still 15 miles per hour. That's, like I mentioned before several times already, this is a slow mover. All the storms today have not had a lot to kind of give it direction or move it very quickly. They've all been slow movers. That's why we've seen flooding issues in many areas. So let's go ahead and I'll put it to 19 miles per hour, a little quicker, just to include Osage City. So it says 857 for Osage City. I'd shave off a few minutes for that with putting it about 18 miles per hour. Let's go say 845 to 850 for Osage City. Again, this is knocking at the door. It's right down the road. But Admire, 809, that's about 9 minutes from now. I'd go a little bit earlier than that. Let's go ahead and just make sure to 805, 810 for Admire. You guys want to be in your shelter anyway right now as the storm is knocking at the door. Still tornado warned. Again, set to expire at 8:15. Now, no indication right now whether or not they extend this. Still, we're watching this area of rotation. The radar just off towards the north and west. Here's the center of that radar. You see that beam, and when that beam kind of lines up with that red and that green, that's when we're really concerned. And it's not looking right now, but still rotation is there. It's getting ready to cross towards K99 and eventually towards 335. And let's go ahead and look at reflectivity again. Here's that area, that hook. So again, here's that storm. The big storm really started, we saw the first initial sightings of this about 7:30, then about 10 to 15 minutes really ramped up. Here's the big storm. We're talking about just above golf ball size hail. Could at times produce baseball size hail in the areas. On the southern side of this is spinning, and we're seeing this hook develop. And that's the area of concern for that rotation, for the capability of producing a tornado. Haven't heard anything yet of confirmation, but looking at radar and velocity, it doesn't look imminent of producing a tornado, but the potential is there to spin up and certainly produce one, moving towards the east 15 miles per hour, eventually towards, get ready to cross K99, eventually towards 335, and then crossing into, well, Coffee County, or Osage County, excuse me, into Osage County and moving towards Osage City. A lot of the stuff, Burlingame, you're getting big rain and big hail right now, but you are out of the tornado warning. Still want to keep your eyes on it, right? Still want to keep your eyes on it. It's always a good idea to stay weather aware in these situations. But Burlingame, you're looking good. This is going to travel south of Topeka. Again, this is moving towards the east, 15 miles per hour. Osage City right now is kind of the biggest concern, but it's so slow moving. Talking about 8:55 to 9 o'clock for that to move into the area. So it's a slow mover. And let's see the latest scan here. So still big wind, and it's still spinning. So if you aren't seeing, if you're not in this tornado warning, still experiencing big wind here. So we look like we just got maybe a continuation. We're waiting for that to load in right now. So outside the storm, about golf ball size hail in the area, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds at this time. Allen, right now it is off towards your east. Still though, remain in the shelter just in case. It's traveling towards your east. You want to stay in your shelter right now. Admire, right now, that's what we're watching for. Admire, it is at the door. You certainly want to be in your shelter right now. If you haven't, you want to be there right now. So there's a tornado warning still in effect until 8:15 right now. We're still waiting on word of the continuation or if it's going to be set to expire at 8:15. But still, the concern is there. I wouldn't be surprised if this is continued, as the concern is still there for this area of rotation. Now that's crossing K99 towards Admire and eventually towards 335. Looks to be mostly just south of Highway 56, but still Highway 56. If you live along there, you want to take your shelter right now. So this is the only storm in town. Again, so if you're seeing rain in other areas, you do not need to be concerned. It's the only severe storm. Every other storm right now is not severe. So this is the main story. This is a tornado warning. Now east of Allen. Allen, you are now out of that tornado warning. So it looks like they've shaved off some areas. You are now out of that tornado warning. So now we're really focused on Admire and into, luckily there's just some roads and maybe a few houses, not any cities, but still, if you're in this area, if you see this area in the box from Road X towards K99, and then southern sides, we're talking, let's see if we can find a Road 270. Let's go ahead and be safe. If you're in that box, take your shelter right now out ahead of it. You certainly want to, okay, so we have just continued that tornado warning. National Weather Service has continued. Not surprised to see that. Still a little concerning here as we're seeing that rotation right now. Now, almost on the west sides of Admire, this is the area that we're watching for. I'll go ahead and point it out for you, where that red and that green meet together right here. This is that area that we're kind of almost east of Admire now as that scan comes through. And it's maybe trying to tighten here. Let me go ahead and get a little bit of a closer look as that area. So just probably east of Admire. If you're anywhere around Admire, still want to take your shelter as this is moving towards the east. They still have a track, still tracking at 15 miles per hour, and they have not extended this, still 8:15 for northeastern Lyon County. So that's rolling through the area, and again, eventually towards Osage City. Eventually, it's still a ways away. Osage City, you guys need to be tuning in. Maybe start looking about getting towards that shelter. It's still a ways away, 30 minutes to an hour. It's moving slow, a very slow moving storm, which is good news. That gives you plenty of time to get to the shelter. The only bad news is if it does produce, we'll have that tornado sitting on an area for quite a while. But right now, we are not talking about a tornado on the ground. Every warning that we have seen is radar indicated rotation, and based on velocity, it doesn't look imminent of producing a tornado. Now, it's still spinning. I'm not trying to downgrade the situation here. It's still a tornado-warned storm. So if it's heading towards your area, you want to take shelter. But it does look to be relatively broad right now, but tight enough to issue a tornado warning. So here's that area. All the storms in the area, most of them are not severe. Still that flash flooding concern in Junction City. And good news is a lot of that rain looks to be coming to an end for a little bit. Still some rain off towards your south and west towards Chapman. We've already seen reports of flooding roads there. That's now coming to an end a little bit there. The only game in town. Again, this is it. And looking at reflectivity, still seeing that hook. We call that a hook echo, and that's exactly what it looks like, because it looks like almost like a fishing hook here. And that's what it is. It looks kind of like a fishing hook because the storm is really trying to wrap up and tighten up. That's that spinning, that mesocyclone. A mesocyclone is the area of the storm that spins. That's what we're looking for here, and here it is. Most of this right now on the northern sides Auburn right now, we're starting to see a storm strengthen up towards Auburn here. So again, Auburn, not in the area for a tornado warning, but still some strong winds, heavy rain right now. So we're getting a report of a funnel cloud over Admire, US 56 and K99 area. So it's kind of what we've been talking about. So it looks like it's trying to kind of wrap up here again. So K99 and Admire, K99 and Highway 56, yeah, that's what it said. So that would be in this area again. So that would be just on northeastern sides of Admire. So that's good news. It's a funnel cloud right now, but I mean, that is tightened up a little bit there. So that is tightened up a little bit. The latest scan, it is tightening up, and you can see that right here. It's almost over 335 right now. But when this beam comes and swings through here, you'll see it. Give it 1 second as this beam swings through. See those colors that line up along that beam? That means that green is towards the radar, and the red is away. That's signs that it's spinning, and that is the most impressive that it's been so far. It is intensifying, so certainly going to watch out for that. Anything off towards the east. The good news is it's moving out of Admire and moving towards an area that's maybe a little less populated, but if you are in that area, you want to take shelter as this thing is really tightening right here. Southeast of Admire, right over 335 right now. It is east of K99, and it is tracking towards the east about 15 miles per hour, eventually crossing towards that's Road X there. That is moving towards the east. So again, that's the most intense rotation that we have seen so far on this storm. And you can see it on velocity, and you can see it on reflectivity. You can notice it on reflectivity, that little notch. It's what we call an inflow notch. That's what this whole thing is. It's where the storm is sucking in all that air. That is the fuel for the storm, the inflow notch. That's where the strongest storm is. It's part of the storm. It's really sucking in that air, and that's what it is right here. See that little notch that we are starting to see just southeast of Admire? That's poking out a little bit, and that's the area of rotation. Again, haven't heard anything confirmed right now, just a funnel cloud, but something to watch out for as this is moving towards the east, because it is now imminent, and it could produce another report of a funnel cloud again of northeast of Admire. But right now the area of rotation almost looks to be on the southeastern sides of Admire, crossing over 335. There it is right there. I'm going to zoom in really close here. Let's see if we can get some, that's the area of rotation. And again, it looks to be a little bit better, just slightly. Looks to be trying to fall apart, less organized, not as tight as it was, but it's still there, and it is still certainly a concern. 15 miles per hour moving towards the east, now towards K78, and almost now south of 56. It has a slight southeasterly turn to it. Let's go ahead and give another storm track here. Storm track, we're going to go mostly towards the east, but we'll go a little bit of a southeast turn. So this has got it in Osage City at 9:01, give or take 5 to 10 minutes, depending on, so let's see. Now they have included Osage County into this tornado warning. You see, they've extended it out. It is clearly concerning enough to extend it out into Osage County. Osage City, you are not in the tornado warning yet, but certainly you're wanting to think about tornado precautions right now, because right now we're looking at about 50 minutes. I'd give or take 10 minutes. Give it 35 minutes. Don't take the risk. Go ahead and start thinking about your shelter plans in Osage City. So we are still seeing that tornado warning that now includes Osage City. Or it doesn't include Osage City. It's just western sides of town. As they extended that out, we're still seeing that area of rotation right now. So here it is. So that smaller box was the old warning. They now have extended it out, and looking at reflectivity, starting to maybe try to tighten up again. Let's go ahead and look at velocity. Every scan, this thing's cycling up and down. That's what we're watching. That's why it's a warning. It is not confirmed. It is radar indicated rotation. So it has not produced just yet, but we've seen a funnel cloud. It's trying to put something on the ground, but we have not got anything confirmed. And this is the area that we are watching out for, just south of Highway 56 and towards 335 right now. So this is the area, and it's moving towards the east, has a little bit, almost kind of a southeast turn. I'd bank on mostly east. The good news is there's a smaller populated area. That's the good news. But yeah, oh man, there it is again. That's probably the strongest that we've seen as of rotation. You'll see as that beam sweeps through. This is really how you tell what we call a couplet or an area of rotation. See how that right there, that beam kind of lines up with this area of rotation. And that is now southeast of Admire. So wouldn't be surprised right now. This is a serious situation. You want to take shelter if you are in its path. So here it is. Yeah, see, now they've kind of got that southeast turn to it a little bit on this warning. And that's the strongest that's been on reflectivity as well. Here's your classic. And now we have a severe thunderstorm also. That severe thunderstorm warning that also includes Topeka. So again, this storm right now in Topeka, not severe. 60-mile-per-hour winds and just over quarter-size hail. The main concern, again, continues to be this storm that is now, we saw it warned just west of Allen. It is slowly moving. It's not moving fast, but it is moving, and that hook is really starting to wrap up. You see right there. Earlier, we just kind of had like a dangly part of the storm that was kind of just off towards the south and dangling there. And now all that air is rushing into this part of the storm. That's the fuel, air moving into it. That's fueling the storm, continuing to strength. And now it is spinning here. This is it right here, almost over 335, and this is the area we want to watch out for. On reflectivity, at least, that looks to be almost there to getting close to producing a tornado. We haven't heard anything yet, but it is certainly the most threatening it's been all night so far. So here it is. That's the hook right now. And let's go ahead and look at that latest scan on velocity. Again, that's the tightest that it's been. It is continuing to cycle and tighten up. And let's go ahead and walk right out here. And so let's see, here's the road W7. And it's just southwest of the intersection of Road W7 and Highway 56. So Road W7 becomes Road X the farther south that you travel. So east of 335 right now. It is east of 335, but it is tracking towards east. Eventually will cross Road X or Road W7 and towards the east. Osage City is now the main place that we're watching for, as looks to be a pretty rural area right now into northeastern Lyon County, western Coffee County. But if this continues to take a southwestern or southeastern track, it may try and miss the Osage City towards the southwest. Can't rule that out, though. It may shift off towards the east a little bit more. So still, Osage City, you're going to want to take your or think about your plans. So we certainly want to take your precautions right now. Osage City, be thinking about it. And Reading as well. Looks like it may travel towards your north and east, and so we're watching out for that. Now, right now, that's the storm that we're concerned about. Earlier, we did see some serious flooding in Junction City, and Rebecca Chung has more on that.
All right, Eli, thank you. And we're also tracking storm damage in the Junction City area tonight. I'm going to have you pull up the storm cam there that we have. You can see a lot of wetness in that area, a lot of rain that came down earlier today. Geary County reports one building collapsed in downtown Junction City, and numerous streets in town are flooded. Now, emergency management reported 3 inches of rain accumulated since 5 p.m. Trees and power lines are also reportedly down, and they're urging you to stay home and off the roads because of the heavy rain.
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. Again, flooding also an issue. We've seen that, and it was a serious issue in Junction City. But right now, we're watching out for. That was earlier. Now the rain's starting to come to an end a little bit in Junction City. The main concern is this tornado warning. This is in northeastern Lyon County into western sides of Osage County. And this is right now Osage City not included in the warning, but you may in the next warning be on the northern sides of that. It's still tracking towards the south and east. And it may, or east-southeast, I'd say, and it may try to miss the town off towards the south because we got several severe thunderstorm warnings now coming in as well, or some continuations. So let's go ahead and get a wide view of what all is going on. So again, severe thunderstorm now moving into Topeka. This storm right now that we're about golf ball size hail. So hailstorm now moving into Topeka, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So golf ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And this is, let's get a track, northeast at 30 miles per hour. So quite a bit quicker than our southern storm. So that's moving into town. So in Topeka right now, not a tornado warning, but certainly a storm. Maybe you want to get away from windows. It's some decent size hail, golf ball size hail. It could fluctuate up to baseball size hail at some times. But again, the main concern, this storm really, and now it looks impressive as the rotation looks on reflectivity. Here's your classic supercell. Here it is, the big storm. Burlingame right now, you're getting some heavy rain. Harveyville getting heavy rain, some hail mixed in, some gusty winds. But here's that area of rotation. You see where that storm is really trying to wrap up and tighten up. And this is what we always see right now. They make this hook right now. There's that hook, all the air rushing in, fueling the storm, and it is spinning like this, counterclockwise spin. And that's the area of rotation. Now, east of 335, northwest of Reading. What we're hoping for right now is it's going to kind of track towards the south and east and try and miss Osage City just towards the south and Reading off and towards the north. That's the goal here, but right now we're still watching it as it is still, that hook is there. And let's go ahead and look at velocity on that again. And looks to be a little bit messier, but it's still there. Not as tight as it was, but that area of rotation is still there. And we are seeing some gusty winds. See all that light colored red? That is some stronger winds. A lot of times seeing that, this light colored winds, or yeah, light colored right here, still damaging wind threat as well in there. So that light colored wind can be 70 to 80 mile per hour winds in that area. It's still strong, and that is tracking and towards the east. So again, so we just got that new tornado, probably a continuation, I assume, of that tornado warning. It was set to expire at 8:15. It's now 8:17, so they've extended it into Osage City, or Osage County, excuse me, Osage County, and a confirmed tornado. So now we know this is on the ground. It was looking imminent. It was northwest of Reading. So this is a confirmed tornado. This is on the ground, confirmed, spotted by weather spotters. Golf ball size hail with a storm. Damaging tornado is on the ground right now, about 5 miles northwest of Reading. So there it is. So probably in this area right here that we're watching out for, that area, a confirmed tornado. We have now got that confirmed. Every warning before that was radar indication, and we mentioned it has been strengthening. That rotation was tightening, and it looked imminent of producing tornado. It looks like it has. Weather spotters have confirmed a tornado. Now it's moving east at 15 miles per hour. That's a good thing and a bad thing. You have plenty of time to take shelter, but a damaging tornado now sitting on one area for a longer time can produce more damage. So we have a confirmation of a confirmed tornado 5 miles northwest of Reading. So it's in this area right here on reflectivity. I mean, you can really see it on reflectivity as that hook. So you're looking 5 miles northwest of Reading, right in this area. This is your tornado that is now on the ground. Again, tornado on the ground. This is a serious situation, moving east at 15 miles per hour, at times almost east-southeast. So let's go ahead and zoom in on some roads. It's getting ready to move across, kind of give an idea exactly where it is if you are listening and just can't see right now. So Road X, getting ready to cross Road X and into Osage County. It's almost towards the county line. Again, it's knocking at the door about 2 miles. 2 miles towards the county line. So it's still in northeastern Wabunsee County. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles northwest. So it's going to be right on this hook here. Right on the hook is the tornado that is confirmed. And so this tornado warning is in effect, again, until 9 p.m. So they've extended it out quite a bit as the storm has looked impressive, still until 9 p.m. And now this has confirmed this has produced a tornado. Earlier has not. And now, right now, we are treating this like this is a tornado on the ground because that's what it is. A tornado on the ground just towards the north and west of Reading. Still kind of watching, almost looks to be two areas that are trying to rotate a little bit here, but mainly on reflectivity, this hook. This is what looks impressive. This is your classic supercell. Whenever you think of a supercell and it's in a textbook, this is what it looks like, and that's what it is. A strong thunderstorm, certainly everywhere else. You could see golf ball size hail to baseball size hail. So seeing some of the hail also in the area. Burlingame, Osage City, now you're getting rain. You're getting rain in Osage City, but the tornado warning is off towards your south and west. So you guys are not included in the tornado warning just yet, but don't be surprised if you guys are included that in the next issue of that warning. Osage City, be thinking about your tornado precautions. Reading as well, you want to think about your tornado precautions. You're outside of that warning right now, but we don't want to rule it out. If you're in Reading right now, take shelter right now as this is moving into the area just off towards the northern, especially northern sides of town. It doesn't hurt to go ahead and take shelter. So yeah, now we're getting the report of the tornado warning that's southeast of Admire, or the confirmed tornado, which is southeast of Admire, which is what we saw. This area of rotation, and the storm continues to look impressive. It is a strong storm. Let's go ahead and look at velocity yet again. And it's just this whole area moving off towards the east. It almost looks to, it's close with Osage City. If you're in Osage City right now, you want to just go ahead and take shelter. Go ahead and take shelter. It looks to be on reflectivity off towards your south and west, but we just don't want to rule things out. And you guys will probably be included in the next warning once this eventually probably gets continued here. So here's our tornado warning right now. Again, the only game in town. This is a confirmed damaging tornado. That's what we got on the warning. Weather spotters, train spotters, they know what they're doing, and they saw a confirmed damaging tornado moving east about 15 miles per hour. That was 5 miles northwest of Reading and about 4 miles southeast of Meyer. Again, that was about a couple minutes ago. Now it's almost moving north of Reading. That's what we want to see. We want to do north of Reading. We want to do south of Osage City as this tornado continues to move through the area, moving east, slow-moving tornado. But right now, this is it. This is it right now. Still watching the storm moving into Topeka, as that storm is now a good hail-producing storm, gusty winds, not a tornado threat with that storm right now. See, looking off towards Topeka. I mean, there's not much going on. Some gusty winds, probably 70 miles per hour at times, pockets of 80. We've seen that in Topeka that can knock down some trees, but not the main concern. Still flooding issues in Junction City. We had that report and look at the flooding that we're continue to see flash flood warnings go into Northeast Dickinson County, into Junction City, and also into Wabunsee County. So serious flooding issues there. Again, you want to, especially driving I-70 west, and that's, higher speeds. You can hydroplane really easy with water sitting on the roads. Don't travel west on I-70 right now, as that flash flood warning, I-70 is in all those flash flood warnings. And the good news is that rain looks to be starting to taper off. We'll start to get some relief. But still, every scan you can still, that hook is still there on the storm. If you're in Reading right now, you want to take shelter right now. It looks to be trying to pass off towards the north. We don't want to risk it. We don't want to risk it, especially northern sides of town. You want to take shelter. And Osage City, you're thinking about it too, as this is slowly moving towards the east. And just down the road, we're looking at maybe Linden, as this could turn off towards the north and east. Eventually, the models are showing, as these storms develop, this is kind of the peak that we were looking at, this time window, 7:30, 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Storms rapidly intensify and eventually shove off towards the south and east. They're trying to show a little bit of that southeastern turn right now, but still mainly east, southeast right now on this tornado one. Let's go ahead and do another storm track. Won't hurt. We can do, oh man, it's really, now it's looking to tighten up yet again here on this next scan. Reflectivity. Let's go ahead and look. Yep, there it is again. Now this looks to be north of Reading. It's pretty much almost right on county line right now. And it is pretty close. You see right there, it's pretty close to Osage City, and it's moving east-southeast. Osage City, you want to take your shelter right now. Don't want to stress it enough. This is a serious situation. We had a tornado on the ground confirmed 5 miles northwest of Reading, so in 4 miles southeast of Admire. So we had a confirmed tornado, a confirmed damaging tornado. It was doing damage, and here it is. There's that area that we're concerned for, and it is moving towards the east, and it is going to be really close to Osage City, especially southern sides of town. Osage City, if you live in Osage City right now, take shelter, take your tornado precautions. You want your most interior room. Again, if you have a basement, that's the ideal thing. Get in your basement, lowest level. If you don't have a basement, you want your most interior room, no windows. If you have an interior closet, that is your best case scenario right now. Or an interior bathroom, get in the bathtub. That's also your option right now, as this is moving towards the area. You want to take your safety precautions right now. Interior room and basement. Basement is ideal. If you have a basement, go to your basement in Osage City. It's slow moving, and so you have time, but you don't want to dilly-dally. You want to do it now. So we just got another, looks like probably, I assume, another continuation of this warning. So yeah, still golf ball size hail with the storm overall, but now a continuation of this warning. Now it's in effect until 8:45, and now have downgraded to radar indicated rotation. So right now, according to the warning, nothing imminent, nothing on the ground right now, but we just had a tornado touchdown. We're going to treat this like it's on the ground, and we're going to go ahead right now. We're going to go ahead and treat it like it is. Right now, just radar indicator rotation, but we're going to treat it like it is on the ground. Osage City, you want to take your shelter as with this new warning moving into the area. Looks like we maybe got another continuation here. So, and several severe thunderstorms now being issued also in other areas. And here's that northern storm. This new warning that includes northern sides of Lawrence, Oskaloosa, not super concerning right now. This is just quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. A stronger storm now in Topeka. Heavy rain right now in Topeka. Heavy rain, probably some flooding issues as well. And so that's what's going on in Topeka. Not the tornado warning does not include Topeka. It includes northeastern sides of Lyon County, now into western Coffee County. So Osage City, you want to be taking shelter. Reading, go ahead and do it as well. Linden, be paying attention. It's down the road. It's knocking at the door. It is a slow mover. Do we still have that track for 15 miles per hour on this tornado warning? Let's see. Still 15 miles per hour, so it's still slow. But if it does produce, that tornado will sit on certain structures for a longer time with that storm being slower. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. 15 miles per hour, yeah, you got plenty of time to take shelter, but it's going to sit on areas a little bit longer. So right now, again, radar indicated rotation. We haven't had any confirmation in the last 10 to 15 minutes or so whether or not this is on the ground. We're going to go ahead and treat it like it is, okay? Because this is a serious situation. This is a imminent tornado-producing storm. It already has produced. We're not yet sure if it's on the ground right now. The good news is the rotation doesn't look nearly as tight as it was. Where we had that little kind of couplet earlier that we're stressing about 5 to 10 minutes ago, that's when it was on the ground about 5 miles northwest of Reading. Now it looks to be a little bit messier. The storm's probably trying to reorganize, but it's there. It's at any times, you see it all the time. They cycle up and cycle down, and they go through periods of restructuring, and that seems to be what the storm is in the middle of right now, kind of a restructuring period. But it's still, again, that's still there, and that hook is so impressive on reflectivity just north of Reading. And again, velocity data. It's getting messy, but still it's there. It's rotating, it's spinning like a top, and it is moving into the southwest Osage City. Southwest Osage City. It's going to try and stay off towards the south, but again, don't play with it. Take your shelter in Osage City, Linden, and you need to be thinking about it. This is crossing county line just right now. Here it is. Getting ready to cross county line and off and towards east, almost following, just a little bit north of 285th Street, eventually towards 287th. That's going to be the line that it's following, 287th Street towards the east. That'll put it south of Osage City right now. But again, if you're in Osage City, take your shelter. Take this situation seriously, and because it is certainly rotating and is capable at any time. We've already seen it. We know it's capable. We know this storm can produce a tornado. It already has, and it's still right there. It's imminent. It's knocking at the door. It's wanting to, but it has not. As of right now, we haven't had any confirmation of anything on the ground right now. Just radar indicated rotation, and you can see it. It's spinning. As that beam sweeps through, you can almost see it trying to line up with that red and that green, almost in this area up here. This is maybe the area that we're watching for right here. That right across county line, as you see that beam kind of sweep through, it's kind of the only area that lines up with the radar. This area right here, where that green is meeting that blue, and that's the area, and again, that's just southwest of Osage City. But when you look at the hook on reflectivity, it's just a little bit farther towards the south. So again, broad rotation right now. We're looking right in this area for the potential for a tornado to be there. We're not getting any confirmation right now, just radar indicated rotation in this area. Let's go ahead and zoom out. And this is one of the storms. You guys, Junction City, Manhattan, everything's staying off to your south. Certainly flooding issues in this area as we continue to see on and off rain. Saw 3 inches of rain in Junction City in a very short time. Roads flooded. We had reports of power lines knocked down. So again, Junction City, just stay home tonight. With roads flooding, you don't want to get into a situation where, because it can get pretty quickly, it always looks deeper than it is. You don't want to drive into any water. So all the flooding going on in towards Riley and to Geary County, western Wabaunsee County, that's the issue right now. And again, big storm also moving to Topeka. It's a strong storm, about 70 mile per hour winds at times with that. Again, and it looks like the hail sizes have tried to come down just a little bit, but it's still a strong storm in Topeka, but that's not where the tornado warning is. Lecompton, you're getting ready to get a strong storm moving in, but still just under that severe weather qualification, or just over, excuse me, at about 61 miles per hour winds. That's what we got as a measurement in Tecumseh. So 61 mile per hour winds, that's just above that severe weather threshold. This is our main concern. This is it right here. They've really trimmed down that warning. They haven't extended it into Osage City just yet. They've trimmed it down maybe just a little bit, or they haven't extended it. It still goes back into the storm. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a continuation here pretty quickly to include Osage City maybe on the northern sides of that. It looks to stay off towards the south, but I'm going to go ahead and say Osage City, you probably still want to just go ahead and take your shelter. If you're not already there, just go ahead and take shelter as we're still watching this area of rotation. That see those light colors, those are the stronger winds, and those signify we could see up to 70, 80, 90 mile per hour winds. Let's go ahead and actually get a query on that right there. Yeah, I was about to say we got shear right there, 101 miles per hour, 95 mile per hour winds in that area. That's definitely the area that we are watching out for, where that the green is meeting that red right along that beam. That is certainly concerning, strong winds. So even if it's not on the ground, this thing is still producing some very, very, very strong winds. And we saw it on Wednesday morning. Those strong winds, even weaker than that, can knock down trees, knock down fences, even can cause power outages and all that. And we saw that issue Wednesday morning. So this is the concern. Still a major hook. Again, this is your supercell. This is a strong thunderstorm. Lots of rain. It is now raining in Linden, raining in Osage City and Burlingame. It could see golf ball up to baseball size hail. So not only do we have this tornado warning, we've got big hail, we've got heavy rain, and if it's moving slow, so flooding issues are also a concern, especially in those low-lying areas. So that's the area that's what is going on up here. What's going on down here is that rotation, and any minute could produce a tornado. And it is, there is that hook. You see that hook right there? That is the whole storm on the backside. Again, this is a mesocyclone. The mesocyclone is this part of the storm that rotates and it lowers down. And that's what we're seeing right here. And you can see it on reflectivity with that storm now signifying a hook, call it a hook echo. And here's that inflow, all that air rushing into the storm, fueling it. And it's going to continue to, as long as we see that inflow, continue to strengthen and fuel it to keep going. And that's the area of rotation, hook echo. Now almost northeast of Reading, and we're going to watch areas just southwest of Osage City. So Osage City, you want to take your shelter. Linden right now, though, I think maybe more on track. Okay, so now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm. A severe thunderstorm warning, so 70 mile per hour winds, and that has now been extended through Osage City and towards Linden. Still waiting on word if they're going to continue that tornado warning. That tornado warning is set to expire, I believe, at 8:45, I believe. Let me go and double check that. Until now it says till 9 p.m. So until 9 p.m. is what we're looking at for this. And it's still, it is still strong. And it is that hook on reflectivity. It looks to be getting tighter and tighter. It is certainly an impressive hook, and that at times looks imminent to produce a tornado at any time. So if you're in the city of Barclay, you want to take your shelter right now. That is moving into town, and it's almost got an east-southeast track. That's severe thunderstorm warning for it. Let's go ahead and see the track that they have on it. Still have east about 15 miles per hour. It's almost kind of an east-southeast turn to it here. So Osage City, again, take your shelter. Right now looks to be trying to stay off towards the south. That's what it looks like. But at any point, we could see this thing trying to crank off towards the north. Take your shelter if you're in Osage City. I cannot stress it enough. Basement is ideal. If you don't have a basement, your interior room, any interior room, an interior closet, an interior bathroom, you don't want to be near the walls and near any windows because those windows will break, and then that's always the first thing to go. You want to be in an interior room if you're in Osage City. Linden as well. We're talking near Highway 75. It's knocking at the door, Linden, and it's moving towards the east, almost southeast. We'll have to see when this warning eventually, I assume, gets continued, just based on, there we go, there it is right there, I assume, there we go. And that's now, they have taken it south of Osage City. That's good news, and it's just on the southwestern sides of Linden. I don't want to say you're out of the clear yet, Osage City. We've mentioned this thing has almost an east-southeast turn to it. I don't want to say you're in the clear yet, especially south sides of town. I certainly wouldn't go out just yet. I'd like to see this pass a little bit farther towards the south and east, but now we're talking towards Olivet, Melbourne, and now crossing the lake here and eventually towards Highway 75. And Quinamo, you need to be paying attention. It's a ways away, certainly. Let's go ahead and get a new storm track on this. With that east, I'm going to go east-southeast turn, assuming still 15 miles per hour. It has not really sped up much at all. Yeah, 15 miles per hour out of the east. Golf ball size hail is still, that's I mean, that's enough to do some damage, dent up your car and everything. So still concerning with the hail. But let's go ahead and do the storm track. Here's that area of rotation. I'm going to mark it right here, mainly towards the east, about 15 miles per hour. Give it just a slight southeast turn. Okay, so Eisenhower SP 910, and then Melbourne eventually 934. So a ways to go, but you're certainly going to want to be paying attention as the storm is already produced. I mean, if you're just now tuning in, we had a tornado on the ground earlier, just northwest of Reading and southeast of Admire. So it has produced, it's shown signs of producing. It is still extremely tight on reflectivity, and also that rotation is certainly there. And I mean, there it is. There's that area. We're going to see the beam line up here. As you see that beam sweep through, we got that sweeping radar. And that'll really refresh it here as the beam comes in from the northeast here. See as that lines up with that red and that green right here. Here it is, just north of the lake, southwest of Osage City. This is your area. Reading, you guys are now in the clear. It's off towards your east. Still going to see big time rain and some strong winds. Certainly still want to stay away from windows. See this light color right here. This is still strong winds. Again, we saw about 80 to 85 mile per hour winds on velocity data. That doesn't mean necessarily reflecting towards what you're seeing outside right now, but still certainly impressive velocity data. That's a little bit farther into the air, ground surface winds, probably 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. So still strong. And here's that area of rotation. Looks to try and stay south of Osage City. Again, don't want to rule it out. Don't want to rule it out. I'd rather just everyone take shelter in Osage City, and it's just better overall. Make sure everybody's safe in Osage City, Linden, Olivet. It's going to try and hopefully pass in between all of these and keep that south, almost east-southeast look to it. It looks a little bit messy again, but it's still there. It's still rotating, and yeah, there's that area. I almost want to watch in this area. Let's see if we have any CC drop. So a CC drop is correlation coefficient. It basically measures the different things in the sky, how different they look. It's basically a debris detector is what we call it. And we're going to go ahead and look at that and see if we can see anything possibly showing some signs of debris that would give us a correlation of whether or not something is on the ground. Let's see, I'm looking for it here. So we're looking for correlation coefficient. Not seeing it right now. So right now, not looking at any significant debris detector. Still seeing that rotation though, northeast of Reading, south of Osage City. We're looking at several areas kind of here. Really is more clear on reflectivity, that area right here. Here it is. I mean, you can see it nice and clear on reflectivity. Sometimes it gets a little fuzzy there on velocity, but on reflectivity, it is a no-doubter. There it is right there. There is your, well, right now, most of your rotation. Again, nothing confirmed on the ground right now. It has produced earlier, but nothing on the ground right now, south of Osage City, and eventually moving probably towards southern sides of Linden, eventually towards Melbourne. That's kind of the area we're watching right now. Melbourne, you want to be paying attention. Not in the tornado warning just yet, but again, this storm is still showing signs. Right now, nothing, we're not looking at anything produced. Thank you. Nothing on the ground. We're looking at just radar indicated rotation, but it is spinning, and we can see that right here on reflectivity. So it looks to stay south of Osage City, crossing K170 right now, and a lot of that heavy rain towards west, 301st Street. This is slowly moving mainly east, but has a little bit of a southeast kick to it. So it might try and keep it just south of Linden, but then that puts it more towards Melbourne and towards that area, eventually off and towards southeast. So again, this is in Osage City. So now northeastern sides of Lyon County. You guys are technically still in a tornado warning, but you guys are done. Everything west. So if you're taking, let's go ahead and say just county line right now towards the west in Lyon County. You guys are good. You guys are in the clear. But everywhere else, anywhere in Osage City that's in this red box right now, certainly going to want to take shelter, especially towards Olivet. Linden, you're thinking about it right now, as it is still moving, and it's still moving slowly, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but it is moving slowly, and we're going to give it about 15 miles per hour, pretty much east, almost southeast, and that'll put it at Melbourne at 9:34. So you got some time, at Melbourne. Again, you're not in the tornado warning just yet, but it doesn't look like this thing is going anywhere. So you want to be be thinking about it right now. It's still a ways away, but be thinking about it. And we'll go ahead and, so now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go ahead and just give a recap of what everything else is going on. Again, so keep in mind, south of Osage City, Linden, be paying attention. It is still tornado warned, and there's still that area of rotation, and it's still there. It is still certainly there. Looks to be just south of town here. Let's go ahead and kind of line this up with velocity data. And if anything, I would not be surprised if this is producing soon. It is looking strong and imminent as this area of rotation is now just in this area. General area just south of Osage City, moving towards the east-southeast area. So we're going to give a recap of everything that's going on. Here's that tornado warning. Again, that's what's going on. Big time storm earlier today in Geary County. We saw lots of flooding in Junction City. Emergency management still stressing to not go on the roads. Still some flooding issues. Flash flood warning in effect all the way into eastern Dickinson County, including Junction City. Manhattan, it's off towards your south, but still flooding going on into Wabunsee County. And Alma, you're still seeing rain towards Paxico. Also the storm that's now looking to be moving out of Topeka. It's still a strong storm. Don't get me wrong, it's still a strong storm. And it's producing about 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail at times. But that is not the main concern. At times, it could be up to ping-pong ball-size hail, but it now looks to be moving out of town. And that warning now is moving out of the area, and it's extended off towards the east. So looks like Topeka, this warning that includes Shawnee County. Here's this, this box right here. This looks to be set to expire, and most of this now moving off towards the east and towards Douglas and into Jefferson County as well. So back to our storm, the big storm right now. Again, so if you're seeing rain and you're not into Osage County, the storms are strong, they're severe, but they're not, tornado warned and not really looking imminent of being tornado warned. Not a lot of rotation anywhere else. This is really our only game in town. This one storm right now, south of Osage City, southwest of Linden, and now west of Melbourne. And here's that area of rotation just south of Osage City now, and it looks like it's trying to wind up again just a little bit here. So go to velocity data. You see right there, now we're getting those lighter colors. It's trying to cycle up again. That's what happens. These storms cycle up and they cycle down. But what you're really going to notice here is when this beam sweeps through again, that beam is going to perfectly line up right along this area, and that is our area of rotation. Not super tight right now, but it's certainly spinning. And we'll give that time for that beam to sweep right back around south of Osage City. Here it is. See how that lines up almost perfectly in this area right here. This whole area, it's everything's circulating and it's spinning up, cycling down, earlier, stronger. And look, it has not moved much in the last 15 to 20 minutes. We had a tornado-producing storm, again, tornado-confirmed tornado, 5 miles northwest of Reading in this area. And since then, it has not moved too much. But 5 miles northeast of Reading, or northwest of Reading, you see it's slowly kind of tracking off towards the south and east. The good news is this is staying off south of Osage City, but right now, if you're off and towards the east right now, Linden looks to be staying off towards your southwest as well. Certainly want to keep watching it though. Certainly want to keep watching it. I mean, it is spinning up. So now, so that severe thunderstorm warning has now expired for Shawnee County. Okay, so that's what we expected. We expected that to be set to expire as it is moving out of the area. So now we should have a continuation of that tornado warning now coming in. As that report still continues to come in, we got a little bit of lag on the computer. We hear the sound, but we're still waiting on the exact warning for that. But we heard it. There is a continuation coming in at some point, or maybe a trimming of the box. Still, though, right now, here's that tornado warning. Now, Eisenhower SP, just north of Olivet and just north of the lake, moving into Melbourne eventually. And it is still tight. This is it is really wound up here. It is really starting to wind up and then tighten up. And that is your area of rotation. As now the beam is almost, looking off towards the north and west. Here's your radar. The radar right centered in the center of Wabunsee County. As this beam sweeps through, you'll see it lines up with that area of rotation. Southwest of Linden right now. Let's kind of zoom in here and see if we can kind of count how many miles estimated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles west, and then, about 6 miles west and 6 miles south. So we'll estimate that in that area there. There's that area of rotation. And we'll say the center of it is now over 285th Street, moving to South Urish. Now, Urish south of town. This is way off south of Topeka. This is now south of Osage City. So again, if you're in Topeka, it's loud. There's lots of thunder around. Now, not even a severe thunderstorm warning. That is now off towards the east, Lecompton, Oskaloosa, eventually towards Lawrence. Those storms right now are something we're watching out for. There seems to be at least something that we may need to watch out for a little bit here, just southwest of Lecompton, as there seems to be some green and some reds trying to mix together. But again, not the main concern. It's still pretty broad. You can tell how much more impressive it is just off towards the south and Osage City. So that's what we've got going on, but Rebecca Chung has more updates for you.
All right, Eli, we're also tracking power outages tonight. We're taking a look at the Evergy power outage map. 6,000 customers about out in Kansas. Now, 5,400 customers affected in Junction City right now. If you're in an area with strong storms, please stay safe. We are reaching out to Evergy to get answers.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, still watching this tornado warning, and it's still tight. I mean, it's still continuing to wrap up and cycle up here. Here it is. This area right here. This area of green and red. Again, green means towards the radar here. You see towards the radar and away from the radar. The radar is off towards the northwest in Wabaunsee County. And so we're seeing that green towards the radar and this red away. And it's continuing to cycle up here. And it is imminent of producing a tornado at time. No confirmation just yet, but it is knocking at the door. It wants to. It's right. Still radar indicator rotation on the new tornado warning. That is in effect till 9:15. So this storm is located northwest, 4 miles northwest of Melbourne Lake, still moving east, a little bit southeast, about 15 miles per hour. Still got the tag of capable of producing a tornado. It is not imminent on the ground right now. So it is not a confirmed tornado. We're watching out for it. It's trying to. It's cycling up and spinning up and trying to produce, but still. And also with the storm, not to mention as well, golf ball size hail with this storm. So you have the tornado warning now into center of Osage County, getting ready to get towards Melbourne Lake. If you're in Melbourne right now, all of that, it looks to be passing towards your north. Just go ahead and head to the safe spot and watch from your safe spot just to be safe. Melbourne, it's knocking at the door right now. Still not yet in that tornado warning. Linden, it looks to pass off towards your south. That's good news, but doesn't mean it can't try and turn towards the north and east. That doesn't look to be likely, but we don't want to rule it out. So if you're in Linden, go ahead and just take your shelter anyway. It's better to be safe than sorry. That's what we say. Better to be safe than sorry. Now moving down, looks to be K278. So still that tornado warning, and it's still rotating, and it's still tight. And here it is. I mean, there's that area of rotation, and it looks to be a little bit more messy than it was. Not quite as obvious where it is. I mean, you can still see the rotation. We're not seeing them kind of the green and the red interlock like we were earlier, but still, this whole area right here, just northwest of Olivet, southwest of Linden, and eventually will move towards Melbourne and probably cross the lake here, maybe just past the lake, just off towards the north. Anywhere in this area, you want to take shelter right now. Anywhere in this area, as we'll get more of an idea of the box here as I go back to reflectivity. So going back to reflectivity, and we'll go ahead and center this up. It looks like it's trying to wrap up. There's that hook. It's not as obvious on reflectivity as it was, but this hook is still there. It's not that classic hook that we saw earlier, but still, it's here. It's still spinning on the northern sides of Olivet, getting ready to cross the lake south of Linden, Melbourne. Again, if you're in Melbourne, go ahead and take shelter right now. It's slow moving. It's still it's what we've seen with the storms all day today. About moving out of the east, about 15 miles per hour. What happens is you get flooding issues with storms that don't move, and they train over the same areas. And it's heavy rain. These storms are strong, and just outside of this tornado warning, still seeing probably 70 to 75 mile per hour winds outside of the storm, and outside of the tornado warning here. The rest of the storm, still strong golf ball size hail, and that's big hail. That can cause damage to your cars, and maybe try and knock out some windows if you get a gust of wind. That's just enough. So here's that area just north of Olivet, eventually moving towards Melbourne and south of Linden. So that's that area, the still area, that rotation that we're watching out for. It's still impressive as, see that beam line up with that red and that green. That is your area of rotation, where earlier today, or earlier just about 30 minutes or so, saw a confirmed tornado produced northwest of Reading, a confirmed damaging tornado northwest of Reading and southeast of Admire. Again, that's not right now. That was earlier. This shows you what this storm has been capable of doing. We have seen a confirmed tornado earlier. Right now, nothing confirmed. Everything is radar indicated rotation, but still, that is the area. So a lot of stuff going on in other places, but if you're seeing rain, it's getting loud in Lawrence. Not really concerned about that tornado warning right now in Lawrence. It's just a severe thunderstorm warning, but still a strong storm rolling into that area. And now all the storms towards Junction City and Riley County, Geary County, western sides of Wabunsee County, still seeing that rain, but not severe storms. But with all that rain that you've seen, lots of flooding issues, and that is the kind of the main concern in that area. So still don't want to travel in areas in Junction City and western sides of Wabunsee County. The biggest storm right now is this storm in Osage County that is now towards the south and east of Osage City. So Osage City, you guys are in the clear, still seeing that stronger winds and the hail in that area. You're still in the thunderstorm, but that area of rotation is now just off towards your south and east. But Melbourne, it is knocking at the door. You guys want to be sure to be taking your tornado precautions. Again, basement is ideal, but you can take any interior room. You don't want to be in any of the exterior rooms. You want to be away from outside walls, whether that's an interior closet or if that is an interior bathroom. You want to be taking those precautions as it's heading into Melbourne. Right now, north of all of that, go ahead and do the same thing just in case. Better to be safe than sorry. This is now moving down K278 and just north of Melbourne Lake, and it will eventually cross towards, let's see, this Barrington Road into Melbourne. So it is moving east with a little bit of a southeast turn towards it, just a little bit here, but something that we're certainly watching out for as this still a tornado warning. I wouldn't be surprised if this is still continued, as this is still a storm that we are watching out for and seeing that area of rotation.
Yeah, that rotation looks to be the area closest between Linden, Olivet, southeast of Osage City. This is more of a concern. You know, it's a Friday right before kind of the pre-holiday weekend. We're definitely concerned about anyone who has taken a trip down to Melbourne Lake and is at the state park on the north side of the lake. That's where we have this area of rotation, kind of in an area that obviously the concerned area in particular is this spot right here. You can see it just north of 278. Right before it becomes gravel, still in the paved portion of it, or just right about where the paved road goes gravel there on 293rd, just north of that. So kind of in a fairly rural area at this point, fortunately. Hopefully it will miss the state park to the north. It'll head over toward 75, just north of Jordan Road, and then move over eventually toward Melbourne on its continued path at this time. So definitely a storm of concern, as we've been talking about. Eli's been covering the storm as it came through, the confirmed tornado that came in just northwest of Reading. Obviously, we have that storm. We have what looks to be a strengthening gust of wind exiting out of Shawnee County in toward West Lawrence right now. So there's another area of concern. We'll talk about that as, again, we're looking at on that one. Heavy rain associated with that thunderstorm. Again, that is currently the area you see just southwest of Lecompton near Globe. Big Springs headed toward Clinton State Park. Could see a strong gust of wind there. So a couple of state parks of concern right now. Clinton State Park for strong straight line wind and frequent lightning, and then the potential for a tornado closer to Melbourne and Eisenhower State Park on the north side of Melbourne Lake. Doesn't have quite the hook that it had. I'm going to go back in time here just a little bit. You'll see that hook shape that was formed when that tornado touched down near Reading, or northwest of Reading, and now as it's moving to this east-southeast and approaching 75, if it's still there, it's going to become increasingly rain-wrapped as it's entered into an area of even higher humidity and still showing signs of rotation. What you've got here is two areas where we've got the wind kind of coming in that way, and then this wind headed that direction, and that's where your general circulation is showing up. That's actually now opened up, and what we mean by opened up is it's spread out over a much larger area. That does not mean a larger tornado. It actually means a less likelihood because the spin isn't as tight, it isn't as focused. And so still a potential for hail when we see storms do this. And so we're looking at that potential with that still on that storm, up to about 1 to 1.5 inch diameter hail possible with that headed toward Eisenhower State Park. Likely hit the Reading area. We'll move in toward Melbourne and Olivet as well. So there's a lot of lightning with these storms. We continue to have mainly one storm that's producing hail. We mainly have one storm that's producing the potential for a tornado. When we look at the warnings across the area, we do have a couple other severe thunderstorms, and those are the ones between Topeka and Lawrence. The overall storm in western and southwestern Osage County is severe, but it's just one portion of it that is possibly tornadic, and that tornado warning, again, going for just a few more minutes, set to go for 3 or 4 minutes. At this point, we'll wait and see if there's going to be an extension as a tornado warning, or it looks like now a severe thunderstorm warning being extended. That may also eventually extend the tornado warning, because there are 2 warnings on this. So they've extended so far the severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-per-hour straight-line wind. This includes Anderson, Coffee, as well as portions of Franklin and Osage counties. This is the one that is moving now east at 25 miles per hour, located near Olivet, like we've been talking about. So that is that storm you see in yellow highlighted all the way toward Franklin and Anderson counties. Still 70-mile-per-hour wind potential on that. And not to overlook the fact that we still have flash flood warnings for parts of Dickinson, Gary, as well as extreme southeastern corner of Riley County and a portion of west central Wabaunsee County, where a lot of rain has already fallen. And we look at how much we've had in the last 6 hours, and you can see that little swath of 4 or 5 inches of rainfall right along Interstate 70, and that is what's created the concern of flooding, and that's why that flash flood warning, when you look at that, and then I pop up where the warnings are located, you see how that's the warned area for that. We also have the tornado warning set to expire at 9 o'clock. So that one's coming up here shortly. Severe thunderstorm warning will continue into, actually I should say it's 9:15. The tornado warning goes until 9:15 on that one. So the severe thunderstorm warning has been extended onto the south and east until, that one goes until 9:45. Get the times on these right. So the 9:15 tornado warning expiration for Osage County. That warning has a, again, that one has a history of that one. This one has it's still going until 9:15, tornado and golf ball size hail. It is still radar indicated, and so this will be including Melbourne Lake and Olivet on this tornado warning. So same areas, Eisenhower State Park, possibly Olivet, but a little bit more to the north. We'll take another look at where the rotation is showing up. So again, this is that circulation showing up just to the south and east. Looks like they are now. I'm going to let the warning run its course and expire. So that is the one for Osage County. And so this is they're agreeing that the circulation looks like it's opening up and circulating. So while it's set to expire at 9:15, it looks like they are going to let it expire earlier. Is that the one of 2? I think we may have had 2 side-by-side warnings like overlapping. So that might be the 9 o'clock portion of it that's actually expiring, and the 9:15 is still in effect.
Yeah, that's right. So the western warning there, so that's western sides of Osage County, that one is now expired, but the warning itself,
you'll see in the area between the county line and just west of Olivet is going to drop away. There's 2 warnings, they're lined up together. And so the western portion of this, which was in effect until 9 o'clock, is going to go away here very shortly when we get to 9 o'clock. And they're going to let that end as it was expected to. And the eastern half of that red area where you see the warning will continue on until 9:15. So the western side, the rotation, you're in the clear if you are west of Osage City, straight line southward to Lebo. West of that line, right along put it right on 170. If you're west of 170, this warning should be dropping off here very shortly as we get to the expiration of that one. So, all right, that's the updated look of that. We do want to look at what we call our debris tracker to see if we have any circulation showing up. There is a little bit showing up. But what we're looking here more than anything is blue. So you see up here underneath where it says debris tracker and it says possible debris in blue. We're looking for more of a blue area showing up on here. So a lot of this is just precipitation. That's a good sign that we're not seeing right where that hook is indicated. That's where you see that kind of greenish area because there's just a lot less precipitation there. So that's what corresponds to right where that US 75 logo is. So we're not looking, we'll be looking closer to Eisenhower State Park. We'd be looking for something kind of jumping off of the map there in blue that would tell us there's something weird in the sky, essentially. Something oddly shaped, things that are flying around, debris, basically. And that is not being seen, so that's a good sign right now.
So it looks like they have canceled now the tornado warning for Osage County. The tornado threat has diminished and the tornado warning has been canceled.
Okay, so is that for it looks
to be that 9:15, I believe.
All right, so they
warning.
expired the one for 9,
Yeah,
and
and
they're
then-
canceling the eastern one. So the warnings should be going away now. Let's see if they've been taken off officially off of here, and they have. All right, so we are out of the woods on the tornado risk, and what we're looking at here that kind of let us know that is that circulation, rather than being focused into one spot on here, has now become opened up over a very large area, and it's kind of swelled open. And an area that large, you're not going to get a tornado developing. We'd have to see this focus in now a little bit more tightly than what we're seeing. So the good news is we have at least the reduction of the tornado threat for now, and we hope it stays that way on that thunderstorm. We still have the heavy rainfall risk. We still have a lot of lightning. Kind of recap a little bit of this for you. Still a tremendous amount of lightning from Lawrence to eastern Shawnee County, scattered all the way westward toward Manhattan. And then just a tremendous amount of lightning right now over Osage County. A very electrified storm, still with the capability of producing heavy rain, as well as hail. Hail in the Eisenhower State Park and Olivet, moving to Melbourne areas, could be up to as much as golf ball sized. So keep that in mind. This is still a severe thunderstorm. While the tornado risk may have let up, and that's certainly great news for Eisenhower State Park, Melbourne, and Olivet, but that doesn't mean you're completely done with storms, as we're still looking at that. We're looking at this storm going off to the south and east, and so this will continue to move on as we go through. So we're going to be, what we're going to do here is we're going to cut away from coverage for just a minute. We'll regroup just a little bit. So if you're watching us on KSNT, we will be returning you to your 9 o'clock programming at this time, and we will take a break, and we'll return here very shortly with our scheduled broadcast of Fox 43 News at 9, unless the director is already ready to go with that, with the anchors. If not, we'll give us the direction they want to go on that. But as far as KSNT viewers, for you, we will go ahead and return you to your programming at this time, and we'll keep you updated from KSNT News Storm Track Weather.